Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we are going to build the ultimate Game Week 33 Free Hit Team. So this draft is my first draft. Later on in the week I will show you guys my final draft, because for my own team I am going to be free hitting in Game Week 33 as well. So I'm gonna need as much as possible to build a really strong team. So I'm sure you guys who are free hitting in Game Week 33 as well are looking to do that as well. So let's hopefully try to do that in this video. But before we start anything, I just want to give a massive shout out to everyone who has subscribed so far. Thank you so much for getting me to 900 subscribers. We are so close to our season target of 1,000 subscribers, so it'll be really great if you guys can help me get there. But for now, let's get on with this video, and I want to start us off with ranking some of the best two worst teams that have a double game week in Game Week 33. So if we take a look at this graphic which ranks the teams based on draft town odds, right, we see that Leicester and Newcastle are the top two teams with a really good double game week, right? They have good chances of winning their games, and also they have a good chance of keeping clean sheets in those games as well, right? And then if we take a look further down the list, there's Manchester United and Arsenal, and these percentages don't really surprise us actually, because we know that in their second games respectively they have Liverpool and Chelsea, and those are tougher games as well, right? So that's why we see those red boxes there for them, because those are tougher games. But if we take a look at their first game, so Manchester United plays Norwich at home, Arsenal plays Southampton away, and these games are the ones that we're actually going to want to capitalize on, because probably we're going to just take the second games as bonuses, right? Whatever happens there, we're going to take them as a bonus, but we're going to want to bank on, let's say in Manchester United, they have Norwich, they have a 76% chance of winning, and they also have a 53% chance of keeping a clean sheet there. So really good chances for Manchester United assets to get some good returns there. And as for Arsenal, they also have a pretty good fixture where they play Southampton in the first game. So we can't really leave these assets out of our teams, but we can kind of manage and maybe have about one or two assets from these teams to kind of take advantage of this first game that they have, which is really favorable, right? And then if you take a look at Southampton is a team that hasn't been playing really well of late. They've been, they've lost to Newcastle, they've lost to Watford, so really they haven't been doing that well. But the odds currently stand in their favor in terms of getting wins for both of their games. I think the Arsenal one is probably a tougher game for them, but the draft town odds actually show that they have a 31% chance of winning. So, maybe the bookies favor them playing Arsenal at home. And also, in terms of the second game, they have Burnley away, and they have a pretty good chance of winning there as well. So in essence, Southampton haven't been in really good form, but I think if we take a look at the odds, maybe we can choose to have about one or two of these players. Lastly, if we take a look at the bottom two teams, there's Burnley and Brighton, right? So Brighton is pretty obvious why they are the worst double game week team this week, because they have Tottenham and Man City both away, right? And those are difficult games for them. So that's why it's not a surprise for us to see red boxes throughout the Brighton row. So I would probably advise us against getting any Brighton assets. So for Burnley, I think it's pretty obvious why they're kind of the second worst team as well, because in recent times they haven't been keeping clean sheets. Also, even though they got a win recently against Everton 3-2, I don't think they were very convincing in attack as well in that game. So in terms of players like Weghorst, he has been underperforming as well. Pope also hasn't been getting a lot of points because clean sheets have been few and far between. So really, I think Burnley assets, we can maybe just get one or maybe at maximum two, right? So if we take a look at this whole graphic here, it's pretty obvious we should kind of triple up on maybe Leicester. Maybe if we want to, we can double or triple up on Newcastle. Manchester United and Arsenal assets maybe about two, Southampton maybe one, Burnley maybe one, and I would say Brighton, we can probably lay off any of their assets, right? So now let's take a look at some of the best players to target from all these teams. So this graphic down here shows us the standout options from all these teams, and also some optional options that we want to consider, right? So let's take a look at the first team, and that's Leicester, who has kind of the best double game week, right? So the standout options obviously are Maddison and Barnes. We've heard a lot of their names coming around recently, and that's because they have been coming into form, and also Leicester's fixtures have been picking up, especially since they have this double game week 33, right? And also Schmeichel is someone we can consider. I think Leicester's defense has been starting to pick up. They've been showing that they're a little bit stronger. A lot of their first team defenders are coming back, right? So I think Schmeichel is a decent pick as well. And then for optional picks, I would say Vardy is expected to be back in game week 33. So obviously, if we want him in our teams, his ceiling is really high, so we can consider Vardy as well. And then if we take a look further down the list, Newcastle, standout options, I think Chris Wood. I'm recording this just after Chris Wood has just scored a penalty against Wolves, right? So really, I think that could actually kickstart his return to maybe getting a few goals in the next few games. Hopefully they do well against Leicester and Crystal Palace, right? So if we take a look as well, I think Fabian Schär and Dubravka in terms of defensive assets are pretty decent for Newcastle as well, because they have been keeping clean sheets. And I think Schär, he has also free kick threat as well. We've seen that, and also maybe he can get headers from corners as well. Dubravka, I think he has good potential for save points, right? And if we take a look at the optional pick, there's Alan Saint-Maximin, right? He is actually someone we can really go for. He has really good attacking threat. We already know this. And I think the players we should lay off from Newcastle are the ones that are injured, right? So Ryan Fraser is currently injured. Willock is also nursing a bit of an injury, so there are risks involved there. So I probably will stay away from those assets. And then if we take a look at Manchester United assets, it's the usual suspects, right? Sancho, Bruno, Ronaldo. And for the optional ones, there's Anthony Elanga and Alex Telles. So I've put Telles in there because Luke Shaw is currently injured, so Telles is probably the most straightforward one-for-one replacement for him. So we can consider Telles as well, and maybe even De Gea. I haven't put him in this list because he is pretty pricey for a keeper, but if we want to, we can go for De Gea as our keeper, right? And for Arsenal, also the usual suspects, right? Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard. But if we take a look at the optional ones, these are all the defenders, and I've put them there because I think recently Arsenal have been a little bit sloppy in defense, right? But if we want to, we can just go for Ben White, because Ben White is pretty cheap at 4.6 mil, right? And then for Southampton assets, there's Che Adams, there's Broya, and then there's Ward-Prowse, who just recently put a really good free kick into the net. So I think these are the standout options from Southampton. And for the optional ones, also defenders there, Livramento and Kyle Walker-Peters. And then lastly, if we take a look at Burnley, there's Connor Roberts, there's Cornet, and there's Pope, right? So I think Cornet is probably one of the better attackers to go for right now, because I think Weghorst has really been underperforming. I have him in my team, and I'm really disappointed with him. He wouldn't be in my Free Hit 33 team. And then for Roberts and Pope, those are just defensive assets to kind of cover if we want some Burnley defensive assets. And then for optional ones, there's Weghorst, of course. And then there's Jay Rodriguez, who I think actually is a slightly better pick than Weghorst at this point in time. Right, so Brighton, I'm not even going to talk about them, even though I've put optional players there, because I think really we should stay away from them, right? But if we really want to or desperately feel like Brighton may do well, then I guess Mope and Feldman would be the ones to go for, right? So now let's take a look at the first draft for this Game Week 33 Free Hit team. So on the screen right now is my first draft for the Free Hit 33 team, and I think just ignore the cost at the top, because I'm going to activate my free hit, so obviously I'm not going to take all these point hits, right? But basically I think really this team looks pretty strong, and I'll go with the starting 11 first. So I've gone for Dubravka because not only is he giving me entry into Newcastle defense, but he is pretty much an enabler as well, because he is only 4.4 mil, right? So I've gone for him as my first keeper, and I've gone for McGovern, who's not even a playing keeper, because I don't think I would need another playing keeper on the bench, right? I'm free hitting, so I'm going to want to maximize the potential of these first 11 players. And then if you take a look, I have Trent in the back line, I have White, and I also have Roberts, right? Trent is because I actually think that Liverpool do stand a really good chance at Anfield against United, so probably that game I would still want Trent as well. And then if I look at White, he's only 4.6 mil, easy entry into the double for Arsenal, and Connor Roberts as well gives me easy entry 4.4 mil into the Burnley defense, right? And if we take a look at this midfield, it is really stacked, right? So I have Bruno Fernandes to give me coverage into that 76% Norwich game, and then there's Barnes and Maddison. I go for both because I think there is risk of rotation, right? But I think there's also a good chance that both of them may play as well. But if either one doesn't, then I think there's subs on the bench if we really need to, right? And then I've gone for Salah also to continue to give me coverage there in the Manchester United game. And then Saka, I think, is someone we really still have to have for this Free Hit 33 team because he is the best Arsenal asset to have right now, right? And then up front, I've gone for Ronaldo and Chris Wood. So Ronaldo is once again to give me coverage into that Norwich game, and Chris Wood also, he as explained just now earlier, he has scored against Wolves. I think that could actually springboard him into getting some returns in Game Week 33. Right, so on the bench, apart from McGovern, who is the non-playing keeper, I also have Livramento, Amate, and Scarlett. Right, ignore the captaincy because I haven't decided who I'm going to captain. But I have Livramento and Amate as two of my playing options if I need some substitutes. Scarlett isn't a playing player, right? So if we take a look, Livramento, I think he gives me coverage into the Southampton game, Southampton double if I actually want some entry there. I'm actually thinking of maybe taking Livramento out and bringing Target in if I actually don't feel like Southampton may do well at all, right? So that is one of the changes I'm thinking of making right now. But for now, it's Livramento, and also the next option is Amate, also because he's really cheap, right? 4.0 mil. So I think as of now, this is how the team looks like. I think it's pretty strong, this starting 11. I think this could actually help me to maximize the free hit. But let me know what you guys think, right? What changes would you make? Who are the players that I'm leaving out from this draft that I really should include in the final draft, right? So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like and also subscribe so that we can hit the season target of 1,000 subscribers. But for now, that's all for this video, and I will see you guys in another one very soon. Bye bye.